Welcome to the Allied Electronics and Automation Expert Advice Podcast. In each episode, we interview a trusted expert in the electronics industry to provide purchasers, engineers, installers, and maintainers with valuable insights into the product and technology solutions that can help them overcome common challenges and add real value to their workflows. We hope you enjoy this episode and that you learn something useful and new. Today I'm talking to Goda, the product manager for HARTING's influential and immensely popular Han product line. Welcome, Goda. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, glad to be here.
Please introduce our listeners to HARTING and tell us about your role as the Han product manager.
So, HARTING is a German company. We're 100% family owned. But even though we're family owned, we have a pretty significant global presence. And with that, I mean, not only do we have global sales offices, but we also have global manufacturing facilities. And in terms of what we do, well, we're, our name to fame is actually from back in the 1950s when HARTING invented the first industrial rectangular connector. At the time, really, the most common industrial connector was of the circular variety. And, we thought there were certain advantages to the rectangular interface, a lot of that leading to just sort of ease of use and modularity at that point as well. But really, since then, HARTING has not stopped developing solutions, particularly beyond the rectangular connector. We have circular connector solutions. We have solutions for automation equipment, sensors, and all the way down to board level connectivity. So quite a range of different products. But again, the name to fame being rectangular connectors. As for myself, I've been with the company for over 5 years now. Even ever since then, I've seen like immense growth within the company, and really how committed HARTING is to sort of following these industry trends and developing solutions for those trends. This makes my role as a product manager quite dynamic, very interesting. I have the opportunity to talk to a lot of engineers, work with our distribution partners, and really figure out those pain points that the industry has, and ultimately, hopefully, finding a solution and bringing new product to the market.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you. I've worked with HARTING through various outlets for a long time now, and I've always enjoyed learning about your technology. So, what megatrends are currently influencing electronic connector designs?
The top ones that I see, or the more common ones, are modularity and miniaturization. There's taking a step back from connectors themselves. There's a trend for modular machine design along with the connectors. But a modular system design is critical for industrial equipment, especially since it's getting more and more complex. I like to use the analogy. It's sort of like a car. You want to be able to quickly assemble it. We see these assembly lines with all these different parts. You want to be able to do that quickly, and then you want to be able to replace stuff quickly when it's, if it breaks down or needs a replacement, and you want to do that quickly with limited hassle. So, connectors really enable this in industrial machinery as well. And I also like to look at the alternative. The alternative to using connectors is hard wiring, right? This means each single wire would need to be individually screwed down or soldered down, and this method is quite time consuming. You can imagine, with even your phone, it's a mobile device, but if you had to, screw down or solder every wire every time, it would be prone to miswiring and probably some quality issues there. So,
right.
Yeah. So connectorization is key. And, and how does this modularity and system design translate to the connector design? Well, as we have more and more of these different types of equipment, there's different types of subsystems, and if modularity requires connectors, well, you really need the right connector for the job. There's a lot of different applications, and it could be hard to find that perfect solution, unless, of course, you're able to build the sort of your custom connector and have off-the-shelf parts. But yeah, having that right solution for the job and not just settling for what's available can provide significant efficiencies, optimizations, and Yeah, a lot of great benefits there. And that sort of leads me to, yeah, the other trend, miniaturization. Um, when you're able to create a connector that perfectly meets the application needs,
Mhm.
it means you're not over designing. This could mean like a larger connector, more than you need, sort of ties into sustainability too, right? If you're
Right.
wasting extra materials with a connector that doesn't quite fit the needs, well, not quite sustainable, bit of waste there. And we also know that as systems get more complex,
Mhm.
space starts to get at a premium, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to add more and more functionality into the same space, and so miniaturization is definitely key there as well.
That's really cool. So it's making it, more accessible by making it easier for any skill level to install, being able to customize it. And I imagine with that quickness, you're saving both installation costs and reducing downtimes for maintenance and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Overall efficiencies, sort of across the board there.
Cool. What are some of the key characteristics of effective industrial connectors?
So I guess the first thing that comes to mind is of course the functionality itself of the connector, right? I mean, it's the core of the connector is electrical characteristics. You're
Yeah.
connectorizing because you have certain cables or certain wires you want to quickly disconnect. So it needs to perform, right? It needs to meet the regulatory requirements, needs to
Mhm.
meet the electrical capabilities, but beyond that, the electrical capability, now you have to look at the environment. So I would say the robustness of the connector is key to its effectiveness. If you have, let's say, a plastic connector in an environment that, gets pelted with rocks, you probably won't have a very long sustaining interconnect there. You're going to need to replace that guy. So really having the perfect um, environmental robustness for the connector based on the application environment is I think certainly key to the effectiveness.
It's probably a lot of different hazards in the industrial applications, like a whole wide variety. So, yeah,
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Outdoor ratings, yeah, impact and corrosion, a lot of
sure.
stuff.
What's unique about modular connectors? You started to touch on that about like sort of the customization, but like what's really the value? Because I know that's really Harding's sweet spot.
I mean, the term we like to use a lot of the time is you're able to create a custom connector, but with off the shelf parts.
Yeah.
There could be a lot of custom connectors out there, but now you're getting into issues like lead time,
Hmm.
regulatory certifications that you need to get, and um, design barriers of other sorts. But if you're able to create a custom connector with off the shelf parts, it really eliminates a lot of those barriers. For instance, with our modular connectors, what you can do is, create something where you might need a really high power circuit, even up to 300 amps, but you might have an Ethernet line next to it, and then also fiber, pneumatics. We have quite a few options there. And you can put all of that together. And I mean, if these past couple of years have shed a light on really anything, it's really the importance of supply chain. And there's a lot of what we've seen, like a shifted mentality towards more standardized products and off the shelf products as
Hmm.
well.
Again, like that's really key, like you said, for lead times, especially these last couple of years. Being able to get those components quickly and already have them approved to regulatory standards has got to like really reduce those design cycle times. Can you tell us about the trends that are currently influencing new modular connector designs? Because I know that Harding is always innovating.
I mentioned that trend towards modular machine design, but
Hmm.
I think that trend really all stems from just, as always, the increased need for more efficiency. This means we talked a little bit about cost reduction, but that could be through materials, through labor time, and it means creating a product that can be easily scaled up or scaled down, modified, really at the end of the day for user satisfaction as well, right? Your user wants a low cost product, you wanted something that's quickly delivered. So, as we keep looking at that trend, I mean that's consistently there. We're trying to make products that then keep fitting the needs even more, pushing that further, and creating even more modular designs.
Which markets and applications stand to benefit most directly from these modular connector designs?
So there's quite a few, but I would say, the one that's quite core to rectangular connectivity is machinery.
Hmm.
It's certainly an area that benefits greatly from not just connectors, but in particular modular connectors. Um, particularly because they vary greatly in the design. There's a
Right.
wide, varying requirements for the machines, and in turn the electrical interconnects as well. Um, this means different power levels, different types of communication. Some equipment communicates through Ethernet, some through other field bus communications, and some both of them. And they have varying sensing devices, and there's different sizes of equipment. So quite a big variety under that umbrella of machinery. So for
Nice.
instance, yeah. So for instance, you wouldn't use the same connector that you would for a small robot as you would for a much larger robot. Different, varying power levels required there. But you also want to have a sort of modular interface so that you can sell a product that's easily scalable. You can easily put something, a connector that is a lower power connector on the machine, and then a connector that has a higher power capacity as well. So that's sort of where the modularity comes key in the machine design as well.
So that one product line could potentially suit that smaller robot as well as factory automation equipment, or even, like uh, alternative energy generation equipment, like, like really all your different levels, so like in machine to like a giant wind turbine.
Absolutely. And that brings up, I guess, another market as well that's key, right? And it's the energy industry. Anything from the power generation to the transmission of the power, and then the lower scale distribution as well. We have quite an old infrastructure grid here in the US, and
Yeah.
there's going to be quite and we're already seeing it really, a lot of new developments, not just for the grid, but also, renewable energies. And, I think a lot of these designs are starting to really, really take into account, sort of the reduced technician availability, those people that are able to service this equipment in field, increased safety regulations, and this overall system flexibility that helps with cost reduction as well. And connectors are really that glue, I think, that helps with a lot of these key areas to make it modular, quick, and yeah, again, able to address all of those concerns.
So tell us about the new Han-Modular Domino modules and how they're embodying these current trends in modular connector designs.
Like you see on the screen there, what we've done with our modular series is take those typical rectangular modules and split them in half. And really what this means is that with the Han-Modular Domino series, where we're taking modularity to sort of this next level, all those benefits that I talked about become even more prominent now, right? It's the ability to create an even more tailored solution, make the connector even more compact because you're not over designing. The standard series already provided great benefits, but this is sort of taking this to the next level, because again, we're seeing these trends in more complex designs and modularization and miniaturization, and this will really enable to create those more custom designs. But again, all of these are off the shelf parts.
Cool. Really cool. And that's already on the market?
So it will be on the market by end of calendar year.
Awesome.
Now you're able to, we're able to provide some prototypes, and there's a lot of content on our website already. So keep an eye out on that is what I'd like to say. And but yeah, all of these will be off the shelf parts available through our distribution channel.
Is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know about industrial market megatrends or industrial connectors, modular connector trends, or these the new Han Domino line?
Modular connectivity is amazing. It's great. You're a lot of benefits there, but it does require a little bit of learning. There's a learning curve. We have an awesome field application engineering team here at HARTING that could help with any of the technical questions that come up. Certainly with Allied as well, a great team there to help as well. We also have this really, really neat tool. It's called our Han configurator. It's in real time. You can see on the screen there, that's sort of what the the application looks like. It's all online on your browser, and it helps you with that part selection. So you're able to pick the right parts that correspond to each other. Again, modularity is great, but it also means there's a lot of components here and there. That's sort of the cost you pay with customized connectors while being off the shelf. And so this really helps with that. And you're also able to see the 3D model in real time. You don't need any special software. I know I don't have that on my laptop, so you're able to do it on the browser and really take a look at what you're making. But and lastly, once you're done, you say, hey, I really like this design. All of the data is available for download. So not only that awesome already assembled 3D model, but all the individual components, the BOM in an Excel file. So really easy tool. So there's support from all directions to create the perfect solution for you.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today, Goda, and thank you to our listeners for joining us for this episode of Allied's Expert Advice Podcast. For more information about HARTING, please visit www.harting.com/US/EN. And for our complete collection of expert advice content, including more episodes of the Allied Expert Advice Podcast, please visit www.alliedelect.com/expert. That's www.alliedelec.com/expert. Thanks again.